Hello.
Yeah, hello.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Um, did you see the Red Bull flat Earth thing?
The Red Bull flat Earth thing. What do you mean?
Yeah, where they got some flat earthers to go Antarctica and
That
to
was the final experiment.
yeah. Have you seen it?
Of course, yeah.
Right. Um, I'm also a flat earther. I don't believe in the globe at all.
Right.
There's things like the Tartarian Empire that people don't really like to talk about as well. There's a lot of missing history.
Why does no one like to? Like, I've done a podcast on the Tartarian Empire. That's like the giants and stuff and the mud floods, right?
Yes, yes, that's
Why do,
correct.
why do you say people don't like to talk about it?
Because you know, uh, the world that we live in is kind of like the Roman circus. So a lot of people are into trivial things like sports, music, sex, etc., etc.
Sex trivial. It's like literally keeps the population going.
It keeps it going, but it's also they use it to manipulate the public at the same time.
Do you not like sex?
Of course I do. I'm a straight man,
so
mate.
you're falling for it as well, then, right?
Nah, I definitely ain't falling for no globe shit, bro. But I'm just saying, innit, like at the end of the day, a lot of people are distracted and they're not looking at the buildings around them or asking questions. That's what I'm saying.
So what do you mean? Like, are you talking about like the buildings that people are saying they're like underground? They're still like the floods have taken them up to a higher level, but they're built below, and the steps a lot of they've been built for giants and stuff like that. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, but also things like, cathedrals,
Yeah.
St. Paul's Cathedral is one of them. Even Big Ben. If you look at the architect in Big Ben, you know, I don't think they can even remake it again. But even the architect in like Regent Street, like all of the buildings and stuff, all of these European buildings, I don't think they can remake them again.
They could. Like, I just think that everyone's got so fucking lazy that they just do put things up as quickly as possible. Like, I'm sure that anybody would be able to create the same if they could do
Mm,
it. Like, why do you think that they wouldn't? Like, just because they don't?
well, first of all, it will the public will start asking questions like, okay, what these buildings have been around for hundreds of years, and now they start to remake it. I don't know. It will start to dig up more into the Tartarian Empire and what was the world like before, capitalism.
Before capitalism?
Yeah, because when capitalism was created, especially after World War One and Two, a lot of books and a lot of historical evidence of what the world was like before has been destroyed, and then they really give you like 1% or even not even 1%, bro, less than that of what the world was like before.
Yeah, I've seen all this stuff, and I used to be semi-convinced by it, but like, I don't know. I'm much more skeptical these days because when you look at both sides of it, it's like you just think, well, that just sounds like it could be a load of bollocks. Like, there's not really any proper evidence that any of that is true. Like, we can assume, oh yeah, that they're hiding stuff from us. We used to have free energy. I guess you're going down that route, right? Like, ironically enough, I'm doing a show this week on the Eiffel Tower, and the Eiffel Tower being used to be supposedly was built to be an electricity pylon, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So I've got to research that this week, but I try and do things with an open mind. But sometimes I just think, oh, really? The other's got two more people here anyway. What's McFluff and this? I can't see your name, mate, at the top there.
Dirk? You can't say Dirk?
No, I can see. I can only see DI. So that's all.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Yeah, go on. What did you want to say?
Oh, may I ask Nick something? Hello, Nick.
Yeah, hi, bro.
So, you You believe in the free energy and Tartaria and all that?
100%. So for
Oh,
example, there's people, black, white, Asian, across the world right now, currently, that have made, for example, there's a black guy in America. I think he made he took air and turned it into water, for example, and
Yeah, I've done that as well.
and all of this stuff. So
That's an African guy. I
right.
can't remember his name though.
So the point I'm trying to say is this is not new to us. And
okay, but where is it?
Excuse me?
Where is it? There's billions of us. It's right there. We have the antennas and the towers already built. Well, let's do it. Why has no one harnessed this power? It's right here. We have more modern stuff than they had back then.
Excuse me, but if you look into world history and stuff like that, especially with the powers that be, these people, especially like the alcohol companies and the drug companies and all of this stuff, you laugh, but
no, I was laughing at one of the comments. Was air into water condensation.
All right, cool. But these people that control the world, that control the drugs, the oil, and therefore it would be stepping.
Yes, I know. I'm one of those people. Shalom.
What do you do, Dirk?
I work in a mental health here in South Carolina.
Right. Okay.
I troll as a flat earther, though.
Oh, you was trolling. I couldn't see. When people come up into the box, I can't see their name. I can see their full name in the room. But when they come up, I can only see the first. Like I'll McFluff. McFluff, what have you got to say while you're up here? You've been sitting there a while.
Yeah, I'm here for the entertainment. I'm actually a Canadian land surveyor, so the flat Earth has just been a little funny rabbit hole for me for the past couple of months because my brother is actually a flat earther. That's how I found him.
Seriously? So
he's a famous one. He's a famous one. Everybody knows my brother.
Your brother?
Oh wait, your brother's Mikey?
No, my brother is Newton's apple.
Oh, I thought Mikey would have been cool.
A lot of people.
Oh, not Mikey's. Oh, I know who you mean. Mikey Smith, is it?
Mikey Smith from the Yukon, yeah.
Yeah.
Alberta.
No, I don't know your brother. I don't think so.
My brother is considered by the flat Earth community as a smart one.
Is he?
Well, I'm subbing to him right now.
Nick, if this is a land surveyor, like, does he survey the land wrong? According to you.
Well, I don't know exactly what he does. So
I'm a Canadian land surveyor. I've measured the curve many times before. We account for curvature in every single bridge that we build in society. Every skyrise, every road uses gravity to be built. I could go on and on. I mean, there's a reason why there's not a single flat earther, architect, land surveyor, engineer, civil engineer. There's a reason for that.
No, that's not true. There are flat earthers who are engineers and pilots.
Not civil engineering. You can't design a bridge without knowing the Earth is a globe. You just can't. Sorry, you just can't. It's impossible.
Okay,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing we don't.
May I say something real fast? Because Nick was talking about the free energy and all this crap, but we can't do it now. And why is that? We have everything here. Why can't we do that?
Listen, I'm not trying to be rude, right? But
no, just answer the question. You seem to be dancing around this.
I'm not.
Nick, do you believe that they won't allow us to because they're trying to hide it from us? Is that that's what you believe in it?
Of course they're trying to hide it, but the main objective for these people is to control the masses.
Eiffel Tower is kind of hard to hide.
Control. Listen, look. Even in the military, in all armies, right, in the world, is only a small percentage that control the masses.
It's just not answering the question.
Common sense. Listen, I'm not here to argue with anybody. I'm here to talk truth. Okay, so
yes, and tell me. I want the truth. Just answer the question. Why are we not able to activate, to use these free energy sources that are everywhere?
Listen, it's like a child asking its parent, why can't I have this sweet? Why can't I have this toy?
I'm muting because I'm about to
you.
go crazy.
So listen. It's about truth. It's simple as that. So what I'm trying to say to you is this, okay? It's about control, one. And two, we did have these technologies before, i.e. electric, cars. We had that before in like the Victorian times, in the times of the Tartarian Empire that existed. There's a lot of stuff we've had before. It's not new to us, okay?
What's the evidence of the electric cars in Victorian times? Because I've never come across that.
What's the evidence? There's literally videos and photos of it. So you can literally look it up on the internet.
All right, I'm on the internet. So electric cars in Victorian times, right? Are you sure it's Victorian times?
It looks Victorian times.
It's just old, is what you're saying, right?
But yeah, I've seen videos and photos of it countless times.
Right, so it says here, in the Victorian era, Thomas Parker, known for electrifying the London Underground, built the first production electric car in 1884.
There you go.
Demonstrating early electric mobility and moved towards cleaner transportation.
Yeah, Nick.
Hello?
The Victorian era, the 1880s, right?
Okay.
Now, I am 61 years old.
Just to stop you right there.
No, wait. I'm making a very good
point. Just to stop you right there. In this conversation, it's about truth. It's not about arguing. So don't be disrespectful to me.
Well, I'm about to tell you the truth. I'm telling you facts.
Listen to what I'm saying to you, bro.
God, he said bro.
In this world of information,
why y'all say bro?
In this world of information and knowledge, we should just yawn to get.
Yeah, but surely, Nick, like Dirk probably don't get as angry with him because then it's just causing a confrontation if you just want to have a conversation. But Nick,
yeah. I just wanted to bring up a point about Victorian era in the 1880s. Now I'm 60. My mother, God bless her, she's still alive down in Florida. She is 100. My grandmother Devona passed away in 92. She was 101. Devona was born in the 1800s. Now, my grandmother, there's a connection between us and the 1800s. It's not that far away. So, where are all these people? Where's all the diaries, the personal accounts?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Like my nan was around. Like when you listen to people, we get into flat Earth out of this because Nick's also a flat earther. Like Dave Weiss tells people, flat Earth was taught in schools until the 1950s. He says things like that. Like
my mother graduated high school in 1939.
Exactly.
So no.
Exactly.
Can I just interrupt you guys for a second, right? So, right. So, the population of humans was very small back then. Therefore, it was very, very, very easy to manipulate. For example, when Pepsi and Coca-Cola came out, the population did not drink water a lot of the time. Programming was very new.
What was the population?
It's way less than now, my brother.
Right, but how many?
Brother, I couldn't tell you. All I know that it's less than 1 billion. Okay, it's
less than 1 billion in the 50s.
Maybe so.
You better check your numbers, buddy.
The point that I'm trying to say, right, is that manipulation was so easy. Right now, the elites and people that are in charge of the world having it so hard and difficult to control us now. Because listen, right? Listen, I'm in my 30s, right? Listen, my generation, I've seen a lot of technology come into place very quickly. Like it's advanced so quick. And look, in the libraries, right? Back in the days, like in the 90s, growing up, I used to see like men and women going into the libraries, right? And it would take them decades to learn information through books. Guess what? Now all those information are in our feeds.
Right, but his parents and my grandparents would remember if they were taught flat Earth at school.
No, they wouldn't have.
They wouldn't remember what they were taught at school.
I'm not saying they wouldn't remember what they were taught, but it was very patriotic. They were very patriotic, and they would listen to whatever the
Nick,
government said. I'm telling you, man. Manipulation was so
Nick, I
easy.
just want.
Okay, all right, cool. All right.
I would like to make a point here.
Yeah, go. Yeah.
These
Go for it.
libraries the libraries you're referring to, Nick,
I'm saying
they
general
still
library.
exist.
I know they do, but
But
you're
listen,
missing the point that I'm trying to say,
They
brother.
hate libraries.
I'm saying
okay,
back then, right? It would take you decades to learn information. All those books are in the internet. Because
Take
all
you
of the people that learned stuff, they put it all in the internet now. And we're learn. My generation, I've learned it in seconds. Seconds compared to what you've ever learned. And I'm telling
oh,
But people would still remember what they learned at school.
I'm not saying they wouldn't learn.
You're
what they've
suggesting
learned
that
in
people
school,
have
but I'm
learned
saying
that.
in school.
No, you're
they
suggesting that. Hold on. I'm letting you. I'm being really lenient with you here. Like, I'm letting you talk a lot. So you're suggesting that people have learnt flat Earth at school, and then come away from school, and the government told them they didn't learn flat Earth at school, and they're saying, "Yeah, you're right. I didn't learn flat Earth at school."
I'm not
It's a
saying that.
globe.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying
Well,
that.
then they wouldn't. They would remember what they learned at school. My nan would have said to me when I was at school, they taught me the Earth was flat. She never said that.
Okay, so basically, I can't remember what time period the
they
globe,
never did.
the idea of the globe
Is
came
your
into
nan
play.
a Mason?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Got to be, innit?
I can't remember at what point where they introduced the whole globe idea and
1492 is the oldest globe we can know. It's 1492. Try
Yeah.
again.
okay, that's
So, and according to Aristotelian, so 500 BC, he had measured the circumference of the Earth, which was at that time 25,000 miles. It was pretty close for a guy with two sticks and shadows, right?
has anybody
500 BC, and these things are documented in the libraries you're talking about that you think disappeared.
I never said it disappeared. But anyways, but look, have you guys heard of a guy called Bill Cooper?
Bill Cooper.
Yeah.
Remind me, probably, but remind me.
Okay. He's an ex-CIA.
Is this to do with?
Is there any conspiracy you don't believe in?
Yeah. Bill Cooper. What is the topic? Because it's not about flat Earth, is it, Bill Cooper?
No. I know where he's going. That conversation.
Listen.
That conversation is going to go sideways.
No, just
Okay, if it's going to get the live kicked, don't bring it up. Like,
it's
just do us a
definitely
favour.
not. I'm just bringing him up to say that this person was a high-level ex-Navy intelligence officer that opened up his eyes, okay? He opened up his eyes and questioned the world that he was in. He questioned his command, he questioned everything.
I
And
question
he
whether he
revealed-
was in the Navy.
He revealed a lot of stuff into the public. That's all I want to say, and that's it. That's it.
Okay.
And it inspired me because I also used to be in the military, and it gave me options to
Home guard?
just question a lot of stuff, the reality that I live in, the moon, the sun, everything, because everything that is given to you is manipulation. That's a fact.
What's with the moon and the sun? What's your issue with the moon and the sun?
I'm just saying in general, okay? You're born into this world, okay? And human beings do not born walking and speaking, okay? This is the reason why in the Bible they say you're born with sin. Well, obviously you're born with sin because you're going to make mistakes, and mistakes is sinful because you're born knowing nothing. So the point I'm trying to say is...
Did you say a mistake is sinful? A mistake is learning. It's not sinful. What the hell?
If you kill somebody for whatever reason, or you hit somebody and you didn't know better, of course it's a mistake. You made a mistake. So of course
You
you're
think
born
you think you can unalive somebody by mistake? And what planet do you live in? Seriously.
I'm trying to say, okay, if somebody kills somebody and they regretted it,
You probably
They made a
could, to be
mistake.
fair. If you punch someone, I
this is
don't know
what I'm
if you
saying.
could kill
Thank
them.
you. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. It's like it's too much anger against me right now. Honestly.
No, you got to understand. Like I try to just talk. Like sometimes flat earthers do come up on my lives and they do piss me off. But like I try to have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
But like I want everyone to be able to speak. It's not you're not going to convince me.
You never answered about the free power. Why we can't?
No, I don't. Why did you not answer that, Nick? Because Nick,
No, I did answer. What I'm trying to say is it's manipulation, isn't it? And
yeah, but hello, Kate. You don't really say nothing though. Why do you believe that they would lie about the shape of the Earth? This is what I always ask people, and please don't say just to control us, to make us feel like we're in a prison.
No.
No, because the better way to control us is to make you believe you're under a dome and you're stuck and can't go
That's
anywhere.
exactly what I always say.
Amen.
It makes zero sense.
There's a reason the flat Earth gurus say you can't go to Antarctica because they don't want people going there.
And
They
if
don't
you want
their
the truth,
flock
Nick,
going there.
just from my part of my experience in life, if you care about the truth and you're a real truther, I'm going to tell you one truth: the Earth has been measured with measurements. It's a sphere, it's an ellipsoid, and it's been forever. So if you want the truth, take my word for it. If you want,
Okay, so a lot of flat earthers, we think, right? We don't know nothing, but what we do know is that they're lying to us. Okay, the moon landing.
But
If you want to
what
talk
would
about
be the
moon
point?
landing,
There needs to be a point, right? You'd even like, I wouldn't concede because I've looked into it myself and stuff. When you're saying about the free power and they used to have all this technology, like, and they're hiding it from us for themselves or whatever. Like, as much as I don't believe that, I can understand why that might happen. I don't understand why they would lie about the shape of the Earth.
well, I'm just gonna go back to control. If you want to control human beings,
Yeah, but I can't let you do that. You've got to have if you are genuinely a flat earther, right? You think we live here.
yeah.
So
What I do know that is that they're lying, and majority of flat earthers.
but you must have more to it than that. You can't just say, "I think they lie, so therefore we live on a flat Earth." Like that doesn't make any sense. Why do you think that? What is the purpose of them faking a globe?
The reason why I'm convinced that the Earth is a plane is because when I go onto the aeroplane and I fly up into the sky and I look down, it's flat as far as my.
Have you ever measured the horizon, whether it rises to our level, like flat earthers? Because it absolutely doesn't. Like
it never does. And Nick, let me help you with something. Your understanding. You're talking about the left to right curvature. You won't see it. It's going to be so slight that only if you have measuring tools, you'll be able to see it. But the front to
you
back,
will see it. You will see it, but you won't know you're seeing it because your eyes
exactly.
and
But the front to back curvature is the one that's in your face all day, every day. Just go outside, look
I
far
agree
ahead.
with you.
The curvature is
I
right
agree
there.
with you.
It's measurable,
I
repeatable.
I agree with you on that bit, right? But the thing is, large majority of flat earthers, the truth is we don't know nothing. In fact, a lot of us don't know anything, right?
That's correct.
We only know what we've been told, right? Growing up in education systems. But what we do know
I love
is
how
that,
you can say that with conviction. Go
but
ahead.
what oh come on, I'm not trying to argue here. So what we do know is that they lied to us about the moon landing, okay, right? And also in modern day when they're going back into space, they never actually show us a full view, right? To debunk all this bullshit about flat earthers and all of this stuff. If they really
they do. Do you want me to show you one right now? Do you want me to show you one
While you
right
do
now?
that, may I ask Nick something? You said in modern times when we've gone back to space, at what point in history since the 1950s did we not go to space? Can you tell me when that did not happen?
I don't know, bro.
Well,
You've been
yeah,
in the
you don't
military.
know.
You said
That's
you've
what's
been in the
killing me.
military, right?
Yeah.
You've been in the military, right?
Yeah.
So you know, in what country? What country? In the U.S.
British.
Home guard, right?
Excuse me?
Okay. So I had bad connection. I'm sorry. So you've been in the military. You understand that satellites. We use satellites for military, for missile, for all sorts of stuff, right? You
I know,
understand that there's satellites in the
I
sky.
know. And snipers, we use the curvature and all of this stuff and wind and blah, 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 blah. I get it. I do get
Yeah.
it.
What?
Snipers, they use the wind, the curvature of the earth to take their shots and all of this stuff. I do understand what you're saying. I do get it. But the point is, it doesn't prove anything. It still doesn't prove that the world, we live in a bloody globe. It doesn't. It actually
We
doesn't.
use it. We use it, but it doesn't prove anything.
No, it
God.
doesn't. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. It does not. It does not. And you know, you don't listen to what I'm saying. Look into it yourself. Listen, the point is, right? If they really want to educate us and show us, proof of all of this stuff, then they need to go into space and take a selfie and then say, "Listen, look, it's round. Look, 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 look." But no, they've never done that. And when the Americans did go to the moon for the first time in human history and all of this stuff, it was all fake. It was all bullshit. Even people that believe in the globe, they know that shit was bullshit.
Can you
Can I
see
ask you,
that?
Nick, when we went to the moon
Yeah,
the
but
first time,
that's not showing me anything.
was that
You know
the
what I mean?
first time we
That's
had
not
actually
showing
gone to the
anything.
moon?
Nah, come on, bro. Come on. That's what's that? That's not.
Can you see who that's by? That's by a guy called Kip Dorigas or something. Doridas. This is
Yeah,
not NASA. This is
right
just
now it looks very flat to me.
What?
that looks flat to you.
Yeah, because of the angle of the camera. Come on, this is not
The
proper.
angle, that is a rectilinear lens. That's not a fisheye lens.
Wait,
Wherever
we're
that
missing the most
goes.
important
Where's
part
the
of this.
curvature? Listen, they
If I may,
zoom out.
if we may.
So don't ask, Nick. I'll say this to you, right? Don't ask for evidence and then just immediately pre-dismiss it.
I'm
And
not.
it's
We're
not
missing
That's
the important part.
disingenuous.
It's not
looking at it.
NASA.
I'm looking
It's
at
not
it,
NASA.
and also,
Nick,
you're gone.
Nick, do you believe in the waters above? Yes.
I don't know.
Okay, then what's that black stuff? Can you go back to that
I don't know.
image, please, to that video, that
Listen,
satellite image?
guys, listen. A
What
lot
is
of
that
flat
black
earthers, they
stuff?
believe in different
What is
stuff.
that black stuff over the Earth?
That looks
What
like
is that
flat.
black stuff to the left?
What I've been told growing up on this planet is it's
No, not what you've been told. We're asking you now. You know everything. What is that?
no. What? I never said I know everything.
You say
But he
no
said,
to
to be
everything.
fair, he said
Ignorant,
no.
man.
Saying,
Come
But
on,
yeah,
don't
but-
do that to me
black
right
stuff?
now.
You
We're just
are
saying
you are
stuff.
saying that this is fake and this doesn't show, or this doesn't show anything.
I didn't say it's fake.
And
Then
what's
What I'm
if
saying
it's
is
not
it doesn't
fake,
prove anything.
you
I never
pretended.
said.
Are you going to look at that and pretend that's not a
Listen,
curve?
a man can be in space recording all of this stuff, but I'm saying
what's
that's
the
not
black
enough
stuff then?
proof.
That hasn't once gone flat and it hasn't once gone concave, and it's all over the place, all over the lens.
Yeah, but
So
brother, come on, man. It's not zoomed out properly to say, yo,
zoomed out.
oh my God.
This is getting ridiculous. Come
this
on,
is a
I'm
very-
trying to be fair with you here, but you got. You
And I'm trying
can't.
to be fair back. Look, this is a very close up of the Earth. How can you prove that? It's very close
Because
up of the Earth.
what would you accept then as
I just
proof?
wonder what the black stuff is.
If they're actually further out into space and can take a selfie,
What, like the 1972 blue marble of the whole
Oh,
Earth?
what's that Bluebird? What's
that
that
was
blue? What Blue Ghost? Project Blue Ghost from 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
okay.
Oh,
Show
was there
us.
another one?
Show us.
Well, you don't. I can't. The 1970. I've got to pull my phone. How do I turn my phone round? Like I can't. I couldn't flick the camera for some reason. I have to turn
Yeah,
the.
double tap
Look,
on your
look, look.
screen. I think if you
These
double tap on
videos,
your
I've
screen.
seen them. I've seen these videos anyways on NASA. Listen, at one point, I went back into believing into the globe, but then
It's not from NASA.
it looks
Why did you
It's
say
not
NASA?
NASA.
Why did you say NASA?
Okay,
Nick?
fair enough.
That was a private guy.
Because me personally, when I researched the globe and stuff, I looked into NASA. I didn't look into anything else.
Okay, what did you find in NASA then that you didn't like?
I would just watch a lot of YouTube video of them in space and all of this stuff, and a lot of their videos got debunked. So I was just like,
But who's done the debunking? You got to look at like David Weiss. Is he debunked it? What do you mean? Like, where's the credibility of
a
these people?
person. Look. I don't know these names and all of the stuff. I'm just a normal geezer, bro. So look, a person would debunk a video. I will go and look at the original video, right, and see what the hell that person is talking about. That's what I would do. And therefore,
So what did you?
if I
So
can see
be more specific. If you've done this research, what did you find, and what was your problems with NASA? Because the 1972 blue marble is an actual photograph on film that you could go see the negatives of yourself, and it's the whole Earth.
is
Why
all
don't we
of-
just talk about the 72 other space agency across the world that are not NASA?
Yeah, exactly. But I'm just giving him the one he can easily find if he wants to look it up.
yes, the moon landing is fake, by the way. Everyone can agree No, right?
Why do you say everyone can agree with that?
Oh,
I
come
don't.
on. It's so
We
obvious.
don't
It's
agree.
fake.
I
Come
used to
on.
think the
No.
moon landing was fake, but I run into the same problems as flat earthers run into.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
Is that when you actually drill down, what is your best evidence for the moon landing being fake?
The original videos of it in, what was it? I can't remember when Neil Armstrong went to the moon, and also who's recording it?
Oh, no way. No
Come on,
way.
you're
No.
doing all of the ones that I did. Like it's
Bring Hasselblad. Bring Hasselblad up. He's gonna have fun.
it was
No,
Hasselblad
prove me
in there.
wrong. Honestly, I'm not an ignorant person. If you guys can prove me wrong, then I'll be like, you know what?
Hasselblad's
Okay,
shit.
well, can I answer? Why? How do you think it was?
I'm
Why
not
do you think
ignorant.
someone was standing there filming him? Why do you think that? And why do you think that?
I think I think Josh has been on every single live I've ever done. Welcome again, Josh. Everyone's going to think that like we're a tag team or something. Come on, Hasselblad, I brought him up here. I usually bring him up for camera stuff because he's a professional photographer,
I've
so
got
that
no
will
one
help you
backing me
too.
here, bro. But I'm just all alone, bro.
However, what? Sorry.
I'm saying I'm all alone.
Yeah, I'm not intended that. Is there anyone else in the box that agrees with Nick? Because I'll
Come
let
on,
you up.
people,
I've
man.
only brought Josh up because I know he knows a shit ton about the moon landing. So
Don't worry, Nick. I do think that us Jews have tails.
what? What's that?
Oh, it's just something the conspiracy theorists think. The
Oh,
hardcore
really?
ones.
I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
a
there are people
weirdo,
that
man.
think Jews have
I
tails.
don't believe in.
Wolfing Gannon or Michael Robert? Someone? Either of you flat earthers? Do you want
I'm
to
not
come up?
against no one, by the way.
Wolfgang isn't.
Sorry, what, Josh?
Wolfgang is not a flat earther.
Oh, okay. Well, Wolf in person, you can't come up yet then because I don't want to pile on here. So, Nick, what are your main issues? You can talk to Josh about it with the moon landing because you laugh like you can't believe anyone would believe that was true. So there must be something proper telling you how fake that is, right?
Wait, I have no idea at this point. All I know
By the
is,
way, I think you're being a good sport, so I'm respect for that.
yeah, thank you, man. I try to
And your
be.
name isn't Guess, so that's what's.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
Yeah.
So Nick,
You
if
go.
the videos and photos were faked on Earth, there should be a telltale sign of that, right? That's basically what we're asking you. Like, what in that footage tells you it's fake?
So the footage that he showed me right now, I'm not saying it is fake. Okay.
No, not that. We're talking about you're saying that the moon landing is fake and everyone should be able to see it. So Josh is asking, what
Yeah.
what
So
did you
it's
see
very,
that was
very
fake?
extremely old. You don't see a lot of gravity. It just
How
looks
much
fake.
gravity should we see?
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know. I'm
It's
not.
well,
I'm
it's
not.
said to be 1/6 that of Earth. So
All
if
I
you
know.
go to the moon,
Yeah,
you would weigh 1/6 of what you weigh here.
okay, fair enough. Fair enough. But you can try to prove it logically to me. But all I'm saying is, looking at it, it looks very, very, very
But
extremely
Nick, I'll
fake.
say this to you, Nick, and I
Yeah.
appreciate you being up here. I'll say this to you. You say that you was very adamant when you first started talking that you want to talk about the truth. So why are you so closed-minded to having your mind changed about the shape of the Earth or the moon landing? If you're going to be presented with evidence that you should probably look at, because this is what happened to me. I
Yeah.
didn't believe the moon landing. And I had people on my podcast that knew a lot about it, and I felt like fucking hell. And they said to me, everything I said to them, they said to me, that's cherry picked. You're looking at cherry picked things. Go look at the full context. So I went away and I did. And when I looked at the full context of everything I'd been fed, I felt like a dick. I was like, oh my God, I've fallen for a ridiculous conspiracy. And if I'd have just watched the entire videos or the entire amount of photographs and everything, then I would never have thought what I thought. So I'm just saying to you, why are you closed to that? Like, I'm assuming that you've seen like him talking to the little girl and stuff, and saying we didn't go. Like that, is that going to be something you're going to bring up?
To be honest with you, to be quite frank, as what I said, I've seen so much information on both sides, and I just come to the conclusion that it's just not real.
But you're not giving any examples, mate.
I know I'm not. I'm a bit overwhelmed by all these questions today.
I can't bring anyone else up, mate. Actually, someone's gone down. Do you mind if I bring one more person up, or?
I don't mind. There you go for it, man.
Like Josh, ask him what you need to ask him, because you've come up for this conversation.
No, that's totally fine. I'm willing to be quiet for a while too. Nick, my claim is if I didn't hear any of the claims of NASA, if I didn't know that how they got to the moon, if
now,
I
Michael,
didn't,
you got to mute, mate. You got to mute. You got loads of background sound there.
sounds like you might be in the dryer, Michael.
You know what? Yeah, I give you an answer.
Can't do anything with him. What the fuck?
Like simply just looking at the images with no other information, I can prove that they couldn't have been shot on Earth. Not looking at anything that NASA claims, not looking at how they got there, how they landed, all of that stuff, I can prove that it couldn't be.
Jesus Christ. I've got a frozen screen, so I can't even do anything about this. Michael, can you drop, mate? Michael, can you drop down? Because I can't hear anybody. I can't do anything to get him out.
Sorry, did I?
You have a lot of background noise.
You want me to drop out?
Well, no, I couldn't.
Oh, sorry.
You've got loads of back. Can you just mute? Now? Can you just mute when you're not talking, please?
Okay, sorry about that.
That's all right, mate. Can you mute? Can you put it on? Because I can't do it.
There we go. Yeah, right. So simply just analyzing the footage, Nick, in reality, we can prove that it couldn't be faked on Earth. And if it couldn't be faked on Earth, there's only one other choice. That's my claim. I don't need, now I know a bunch about the rocket and how they got there and what they did when they got there and stuff, because I think the moon landing's really cool. My kids are into NASA. I live in Florida. We've been to Kennedy Space Center. I have a lot of knowledge on that, but I don't need any of that knowledge to prove those photos to be real.
Okay, fair enough. That's fine.
Now we can walk through how we do that. The lighting alone wouldn't have been possible on Earth. And that's both physically possible and mathematically possible. It would have been impossible to fake that on Earth in a studio.
Okay, I disagree. I think the Earth has many land and strange and very, very tough terrain that majority of the public.
Sure. No, we could probably find a background that looks the same. I'm talking about the lighting.
Okay. All right. Cool. I still disagree on that claim.
Do you know why I say that? Are you curious at all as to why I say that?
I can understand why you would say that, but
why? Why would I say it's impossible to fake it on Earth? What tells me in those photos that the lighting couldn't have been faked in a studio?
Maybe in your point of view that the video evidence that you see, that the world has seen, it looks very a tough terrain.
No, it has nothing to do with the terrain. It has everything to do with the lighting. Do you?
Okay.
Nick, I'm trying to make you curious about
this.
Obviously,
space compared to Earth, right? You're gonna have.
Hi guys. Oh, sorry.
Because space is supposed to be, pitch black darkness with the sun and the lighting from the Earth and the moon and etc. and the stars. Mm-hmm. So obviously, it's gonna have different lighting compared to Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
What do you think I see in the photos and the video that tells me the lighting couldn't have been faked on Earth?
I wouldn't be able to tell you that. I don't know. But what I can say,
But you're not curious.
but what I can say is that, you know, if you go to Antarctica, there's certain times in Antarctica it's just all sun.
Yeah, which is impossible on a flat Earth, by the way.
Yeah.
Okay, but flat Earth has
Also has nothing to do with the moon landing photos. That's weird.
But this is okay. But you're talking about the lighting, so I was just trying to relate.
Right, but there's one specific thing in the photos. Actually, two, if you want to be super technical about it. There's two things in those photos and all of the videos that tell us, oh, there's no way this was faked inside a studio.
Okay, tell us. Tell me.
It's the shadows, the fact that they don't have a fuzzy edge, and the fact that the entire surface that they're standing on is evenly lit.
So
In order for those two things to happen, you have to have a very small, very powerful light positioned really far away.
So you're saying it is impossible for, you know, rich people that
we actually did the math on it. Do you want to hear the math?
Let me just say one thing. So you're saying it is impossible for rich, you know, people that have a lot of money to manipulate the video and to make it seem like it's in space when it's actually on Earth.
How would you manipulate the video?
I don't know that. I'm not a light.
Do you know how the video was shot in the 1960s through the early 1970s? How it would have to be shot?
I wouldn't know that.
Nick, can I point something out to you? Because it was something that was something that was pointed out to me a few years ago, right? So you don't have any answers for anything, right? Which is fair enough. Why should you, right? You've just taken an interest in something and you've been convinced of something by watching stuff and whatever, right? Fair enough. That happens to a lot of people. But you were saying earlier on that the indoctrination of the school, they just tell you and you just accept it. So basically you have just accepted this stuff from what people told you, right? And you've not questioned it. And Josh is pointing out how it's impossible. And you are saying, I've got no idea. So which means...
This is what I would say.
Someone just told you and you believed it, which is no different to what you're accusing everyone else.
Correct. 100% correct. So this is what I would say. Manipulation is a serious thing, and for example,
unfortunately, Nick, you've been manipulated into not believing what's actually true.
That's fine. That's fine if you want to think that with me. That's fine.
Hey guys, can I just make a quick input?
Yeah, of course. Sorry, Michael. Go for it. Yeah.
That's all right. Well, I'm from Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. And I really had no idea that the entire flat earth round it was such a humongous thing on social media and everywhere else, right? I don't believe that the earth is flat, right? But Nick, as someone who is recently started to look at the whole debate open-mindedly, although I don't believe that the earth is flat, right? A lot of the flat earthers, like you have demonstrated to me, do not have any facts to say that, okay, X explains why the earth is flat.
That's not true.
They ask questions and you basically say that you're not sure, you're not posing any facts to the people that are telling you otherwise. With the entire indoctrination thing, yes, there is indoctrination with a lot of social systems and stuff. There are conspiracy theories that have been proven to be true, but facts speaks to everything that is necessary to debunk any
I agree.
opposition to your point.
I do not disagree.
Right. So
I agree.
thanks, guys. I'll continue to look at your live whenever I get a chance. I'm at work and sorry about the mishap before with the noise.
No problem, mate. No problem.
And I think I will start to follow. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Enjoy your day.
you better do. You better follow us now after that, after you've just come in and derailed my live. Thanks, mate. Thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye.
Just because, right, I don't have all of these facts and evidence, you know, that you guys do, don't mean that people that believe in a flat earth, that ask, that question the reality that they live in, don't have these evidence.
They don't. Can I just say to you, who got you into flat Earth? Right.
No one got me into flat earth.
Someone. Where did you first see about it then? And you didn't come to it on your
The
own.
reason why I started to gain the understanding of flat earth is because I question the reality that I live in. And for example, as time goes by, every 100 years, the government had restricted humanity a lot, and that includes information. Okay, so a lot of things have changed. So
But I'll say that even if all of that is true, what's that got to do with the shape of the Earth? Like I'll say this to people: just because you don't trust government, because you believe there's loads of conspiracies and they're hiding stuff, and of course they do. Of course, all governments hide things, and of course they're not always working in everyone's best interest. Everybody accepts that.
I'm a bit slow in articulating myself. Okay, that's fine. But what I'm going to say is this. I said to myself, okay, the flat earth, I don't know about that. Cool, boom, boom, boom. Right, cool. But if because there was a point in time where Virgin said that they're gonna make like a spaceship for people to go on holiday into space.
They did.
Okay,
Called
cool.
Virgin Galactic.
Exactly.
You can pay to go ride on it if you want.
What, right now?
Yep.
Did it blow up?
Same with no, it doesn't blow up.
It blew up, and then they said
No, Virgin Galactic has not blown up. That you're talking about
I beg you
Starship.
look it up right now, bro.
Yeah, go ahead.
I beg you look it up.
Yeah.
They cancelled
So
the whole
Virgin Galactic gets attached.
It doesn't exist no more. It doesn't exist.
Nick,
Okay,
how
look
did
it
they
up,
launch?
look it up.
Nick, how did they launch Virgin Galactic? Do you know?
I know, of course, I don't know this stuff.
How did they launch it?
I'm not a bloody rocket scientist. You just
Nick, to be fair, you brought it up though.
Yes, I'm bringing it up, and you let me.
How did they launch Virgin Galactic? They launch it in a very specific way, unlike any other spacecraft.
I'm just gonna say this, yeah. I said to myself, when people start going holiday outside of this earth and can see for themselves,
and they do.
I may even.
There's multiple companies that you can go up to space.
Well, yes. But no one's done it.
I showed you. I showed you some footage of a rocket.
Take a trip into space. No one's done that.
I showed you a footage of a rocket like earlier.
I know you showed me that, but don't worry about it. You know. Don't worry about it.
Right, Randall. Randall wanted to say something about gas pressure within a container next to a vacuum, didn't you, Randall?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, my guess is it has to be a firmament.
Or a gradient.
And I can't see a firmament going around a heliocentric model either.
Right, but there's there's a gradient, right? Know, there's a gradient of pressure. Like the top of Mount Everest is literally hardly any air, hardly anything. Where's the barrier
well, that's
between?
True, but
where's the barrier between the top of
air against a vacuum? A vacuum.
It's not a vacuum. It's a very low pressure system. So this is how it works, right? This is my claim. So my claim is that we're very, very dense down here, and then the gradient goes less dense, all the way until there's hardly any density, hardly anything, and it's close to a vacuum, which is space.
There's still air. You could be close to a vacuum, but it's not a vacuum. So
Yeah, but
regardless of what the
space isn't
density
a vacuum.
is,
Space isn't
well,
a
regardless
vacuum.
of what the density of the air is, as soon as the vacuum is opened up to the air pressure, it's going to instantaneously go in, fill the space.
No, it's
It
not.
has to. It's what
It's
it
not
does.
unless there's a force acting upon it, right?
So how
You-
can a unit a vacuum system as large as as we can possibly conceive, but yet this one
but-
little round ball,
Yeah, but I've
holds
just
its own,
explained
keeps
to you.
its own atmosphere.
Do you agree
you know?
that there's a gradient of pressure from the ground up?
Yes, but I don't believe the gradient of pressure it's irrelevant because
Why is it irrelevant? If you go far enough, that will turn to nothing, won't it?
Look, you can't have pressure if there's a leak anywhere. You can't. If there's a leak anywhere, okay?
If there was a firmament, would there be a pressure gradient? Yes or no?
There is a pressure gradient with the firmament.
So there can't be a firmament.
The firmament is locking the air pressure in.
So why isn't it pushing against the roof of the firmament? It's not. So why is it less dense up there then?
Say that again.
Why is there hardly anything up there? Why at the top of you've got to concede the top of Mount Everest is within the firmament, right? That you believe.
Well, okay. It could be the area size of the area itself.
Why is the air on the ground not rushing up to the partial vacuum at the top of the dome?
Could be particles in the air. Could be heat. Could be
why
coolness.
is it could be
a lot of things.
Why don't
look,
when
guys,
I boil
guys,
when I boil, if I put water in a pot, okay, unless I boil it, it doesn't rise. But if I boil it, it starts rising, doesn't it?
Guys, look.
The air pressures can work.
Hold on, Randall. Hold on, Nick. What did you want to say, mate?
The truth is, no flat earthers know that for certain that we live on a plane. That's a fact. We can go off the Bible and say it's a firmament, and that's why a lot of people will say it's a firmament.
Yeah, but then your objective reality disagrees.
Let me just land on this.
But,
Let me just land on this.
Remember,
Let me just land on this, please. Thank
Okay,
you.
Nick. You've got to land on it this time, though, Nick.
Even the old maps, right? They were all flat. Well, planes. They were planes.
Every map's flat.
Yes.
The UN, it shows a picture of a plane. Okay.
Yes.
So what I'm trying to say is, okay, don't laugh at me now. Don't be ignorant. So what I'm trying to say is,
Mate, don't start getting stroppy. I've been supporting you the whole way through.
I'm not
don't
saying
start
you
getting
did that.
triggered because
Listen.
I'm laughing. I've heard these arguments so many times, Nick.
I
You're not telling
know.
me anything.
But the truth is this: no one bloody knows. Do you know what I mean? No one knows.
except for these guys, Nick. Remember when you
we
said
we all can make
Nick,
assumptions and do the math
Nick,
and do all of this
I'll
stuff.
try and get you up, Josh, but I've got to
And that
figure
is
it
the
out.
point that I've been trying to make all this time. We don't know. We all have been given information and we're regurgitating it.
Nick,
That's all it is.
no, Nick, I've tested
That's what
it
you're
myself.
doing, Nick.
I'm telling you, we don't know. You don't know for
Josh,
No, I've
I
tested
can't
it
give you the
myself.
big screen. I don't know why.
That's fine. Nick, do you see what it says on my screen here?
You can
You
read
said
it out.
earlier-
It's small writings. I can't see it. I can see the first.
You can't read that?
Mission to
I
read it, and
wear
that's it.
glasses and I can read that. Okay,
No
it says the first all-civilian mission to orbit Earth.
Yes, that's all I can see.
Remember when you said you can't, like average ordinary people can't just go into space on holiday?
Yes.
Here's 4 people who did. On Inspiration 4, there's an entire documentary about them. Remember when you said Virgin Galactic blew up?
Yep.
Let me go. Yeah, looks like it went back. Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2. Stupid. Go away, ads. Space tourism rocket. So these rockets exist. You can also go on Blue Origin.
Anyway, these people that are going on these rockets, they're not normal bloody people.
No, they are.
They're
So
not
as a
recording on
matter of
Snapchat
fact,
and Instagram.
so
It's not going to be
as a
cheap,
matter
is
of
it, Nick?
fact,
I know it's not. I know it's not.
as a matter of fact,
But
this
come on,
this woman
that
right
can
here.
easily be orchestrated and manipulated. Easily. Easily.
Okay, so Nick, what you're
Easily.
saying is there's
There's
no amount of
no
evidence that's going
There
to
is
suffice
no
for you.
full proof, okay, that we live on a globe. There isn't. There
There,
actually
there,
isn't.
there absolutely is, and you
The
can do it
pictures are all
yourself.
CGI, and
No,
the
You
I've just
can't
video,
told you.
CGI
they're all
film,
I've
Nick.
just
CGI. They're
shown
all
you a rocket.
bullshit.
Nick,
Nah, man,
you
I'm not
can't
buying it.
CGI film. Do you know what physical film is? Do you know what physical film is?
What do
Film
you do
that you
for a
can
living?
hold in your hand.
Listen, no, I don't know.
Okay, so do you remember back in the day, perhaps when your parents got
You tell me.
married
Yeah.
and the wedding photographer came to their wedding? They put film in the camera, they took pictures, they rewound the film, they took it to a place to have the film processed, and then they were handed like actual photos back and a strip of negatives. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Look, that's fine. That's all cool.
No, no, hold on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Engage with what I'm asking you
No, I
instead of
don't know.
obfuscating
I've
and
never
going to
looked into
something else.
cameras. I've never looked into these into
Nick, I
depth.
have. Nick, I'm a
Exactly.
professional photographer and
I'm not
I'm
asking
telling you what,
question. Just explain it to me, because I don't know
yeah,
anything
yeah,
you're
you
saying
can't, a
about. Tell me a
computer
little bit.
cannot, Nick, you have to listen in order to hear. A computer
Brother,
cannot
listen,
alter,
listen. I've been listening. Don't be rude, bro. That's it. Just don't be rude.
you're not listening. Every time I talk, you say something.
Because you
Do you
keep
see how you're
asking me
still doing it,
questions,
Nick?
and I keep telling you that I don't know
Okay,
these things. If you
okay.
look into it, just
If you're
tell me.
quiet, I'll explain it to you. Let me know when you're ready.
I've been ready,
Perfect.
bro. I've been listening.
Perfect. A computer cannot alter something you hold in your hand. A computer can only alter what is on its screen. So if you have the original film in your possession, you can compare it to what's on the screen and either say, hey, you altered what's on the screen, or hey, this matches what's on the film. We have the original film from Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo. It is housed in Houston. We can go look at the film and compare it to the images we see on our screen that were claimed to have been taken during those missions. They all match.
It doesn't
You
matter.
cannot CGI film.
It doesn't matter. What
It does
Monday?
It does
matter because
matter.
you
No,
said
no,
all
no.
of the
Listen to what I'm
photos are
saying.
CGI.
Okay. You guys keep asking me why do I believe in the flat Earth? Let me explain it. Okay, it doesn't matter. What matters is go into space and take a full video, a real
We
video
did.
of the.
We did.
Oh my god!
I've
Then you
just
guys have
shown you
not.
that. I've just shown
You
you
showed
one.
me up like a close up of the Earth. That is not showing me nothing. How is that
Nick, do
showing me
you
the
know,
full picture of the Earth?
that we get
That
a
is not
new
showing me the full
photo?
picture of the Earth.
Nick, listen. We get a new photo of
I'm
Earth
listening.
every
Oh my
10
god!
minutes,
Yeah.
every day for the last 20 plus
The
Fake,
years.
Himawari. Have you heard of the
fake,
Himawari satellite, Nick?
fake pictures.
Okay,
Exactly.
so
So
then
why,
why are you
Nick?
asking for
Yeah,
more?
exactly. What would you accept? You're saying show me.
And I'm
So we're
saying
saying
it.
go and look.
I've
Go and
been
look here.
saying
You're
it. I've
saying
been
that's
saying it.
fake.
Okay, brother. Listen, I've been saying it, guys, and I want to say it again. Just let me land.
I've got this feeling you're going to turn around in a minute and say, actually, this is all bollocks. I'm trolling. Like, that's how I'm feeling at the moment.
I'm not trolling. Listen, okay.
Nick, I have one question. Do you know who Steve
Oh,
is?
come on, man. Oh, let me just
Do you know
land.
who, Steve?
No,
Yeah.
ask me a
No,
question.
he's
Go
just
on,
he's
man.
just taking the
Bully
piss.
me. Go on.
Nick,
Go on.
what was you going to say? That is, we've got a little in joke here about Steve. Did you watch any of the final experiment, Nick? What did you make of that? The Antarctic 24 hours sun.
I nearly believed it.
Really? What was your issues with that?
Because they're showing me real shit.
No. Did you not watch any of the live streams?
No. But listen, just hear me out. If they can show me, like, look, they bring a guy from the flat Earth into Antarctica to prove them wrong. I like that shit. I like that.
They took
You
4.
understand? I like stuff like that, right? If they can get a genuine motherfucker, sorry for swearing on your platform.
Who?
But if, I don't know, just a genuine fucking geezer in the public, yeah, to get into a spaceship, fly into the fucking atmosphere.
They did. I
into
showed
the
you
moon.
4.
Listen, we don't know these people. They could be manipulated.
We
Now,
do.
listen,
One of them was a
Yeah, but you
childhood
could.
cancer
brother,
survivor
just let
and
me
raised
land.
money
But
for.
Nick,
Over me. Let me just land on this. Let me just
But
land on
Nick-
this. Let me just land on this. So
Okay.
if you can get somebody into space, do a selfie, go on Instagram live, we've got this technology. Go on Snapchat, all of this shit. I guarantee you, all flat earthers won't believe in flat earth.
Rubbish. That's nonsense. Do you know what flat earthers said? And there's video evidence of this from 10 years. All of the top flat earthers saying the thing that debunks flat earth is a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. You can go watch videos after videos of all of these people, Debay, Weiss, Whitsitt, all of these people saying this, right? And then there was a 24-hour sun. Two of the main ones went and witnessed it. One of them was honest enough to change his mind and say, that's got to be a globe then. The other one just won't because he doesn't want to lose his revenue, but he's still not doing any flat earth content, by the way. And they took a random girl down there that nobody knew, and she also witnessed it. And they also took another guy that was a flat earth. I'm not sure he still is. Maybe he switched, but I don't really know where he came from.
Yeah,
that was their
the woman
evidence.
that sent him switched.
He switched, yeah. So that was their evidence, right? So that's what they demanded. That's what they got. They got paid for the two of them. Got paid for by some guy. It cost him like over 70 grand to take them both. Weiss got offered to go. Dubay got offered to go. They both refused because they both knew what they would see.
I'm definitely not one of those people.
Right. So what I'm saying is, the point I'm trying to get, Nick, you got to let me land now, mate. Come on.
Go on.
Right. So what I'm saying is, you're saying every flat earther would accept it if they sent someone to space, took a selfie, went live on Instagram, blah blah. They did all of that. They did all of that with the thing that they all would have definitely accepted before. And guess what happened? Guess what happened? Everybody rejected it and said it was fake.
Okay. So who won it Instagram Live? Because I've never seen that.
They went on YouTube Live. They did live streams.
Okay.
What's that different to Instagram Live? It's the same fucking company, isn't it?
I hear you.
I watched the live streams myself. They was interacting with the live chat and I was watching them. I've had Will Duffy, who organised it. I've had him on my podcast. I spoke to him for an hour before it went. He explained everything he was doing to me.
All right, fair enough. All right, look, I leave it as this here. I know nothing. And I continue. No, listen. I continue to learn every single day, and
but you've got to be open to new evidence.
I am open, and I leave you with this, my brother. No, listen. I leave you with this, though. I leave you with this. I believe in. I do not believe in the globe, and I do not believe in the flat Earth either. I leave you with that. But when man does prove to us for definite.
You won't accept it.
Then I would accept it.
What's the proof you would accept? And if you say a selfie, I'm going to scream.
And by the way, majority of flat Earth.
Nick, let me ask you one question before you leave.
Go
on. Can you take a selfie with the moon in the background from Earth?
Of course you can.
Okay, how big would the moon be in that selfie? If
can of worms now, bro.
No, I haven't because I can explain to you focal lengths. Because let's do it this way. Okay, so I'm taking a selfie. The sky's behind me. How big is the moon going to be? Is it going to be a little tiny bright white dot in the sky? Or are we going to be able to say, hey, that's the moon. Look at all that detail.
Bro, listen, sometimes I've seen the moon so big, I feel like I could touch it. And sometimes
I've seen but if I turn my camera on, so I have my camera on right now, the camera sees me and my head and my shoulders and stuff. How big will the moon be? Let's see how genuine you are.
I don't know how big the moon. I just explained it. Like
it's going to be smaller than the fingernail of your pinky.
But sometimes
it's going to be tiny, and the same thing would happen.
Sometimes
just so you know,
it's orange and it's massive.
Color doesn't matter. Listen, if we went into space, if I took you into space right now, and we were at the position where they shot the 1972 Blue Marble, and you turned on your phone and pointed it at yourself so you could see.
Oh no, that bloke's gone. I was just going to get to him in a minute. Come back.
Yeah, we ignored him too long.
Oh mate, I muted him. I think he didn't know how to unmute himself because his fucking dog was barking. I was like, shut that shit up, and I muted him. And I don't think he knew how to unmute.
You can always tell me to shut up too if I'm talking too much.
No,
but Nick, the point is, if you see the Earth behind you in space from a position where you can see the entire Earth, and you point the camera at yourself, So you take a selfie as you want. The Earth is going to be really small due to the focal length of the camera. You simply don't know what you're asking for.
That's what I've said before. I've seen the moon massive, brother. Like, it looks like it's on Earth for sure. Like, it does not look like it's
Except,
millions
Nick, I
of miles
measured
away.
the distance to the moon myself. You
Brother,
can do it too.
listen, I don't care about measuring it. If what I'm
Of
seeing,
course not. That would destroy your claim that the moon is on Earth.
That's the truth.
Can't measure
you're
it
a
if we're
funny
going to make
guy.
that claim. If we make that claim, it's going to be wrong.
Listen,
We don't
look,
want to be wrong.
okay. So what about all of these pilots? Yeah, that's
Drivel. That, what, from that one film? Is it Level or something? That film? Are you talking about
one
that
film.
film? Level?
No, real life. I've seen countless of
No,
pilots.
this is a document, a flat Earth documentary called Level, where they interviewed pilots, and they all said, "Yeah, it's flat." So we should all just believe that, but nothing else. No other pilots, just those ones.
Some flat earthers, yeah, they believe that we live in an egg. Okay, some flat earthers.
Then they're not a flat earther, they're an egg earther.
Are there any flat earthers in the box, by the way, like that want to come up? Because I don't want to bring any more globe people up just yet, but there's Patriot, Fractal Talk. I know Stingray's not. I know he's not.
Fractal is a moon landing denier for sure.
Oh, right, okay. Someone got some bubble wrap or something. What's going on there?
No, he's just crinkling
No, it's me. I'm smoking tobacco.
All right, okay. Fractal is not loading up, mate. Have to try again. Maybe he went.
TikTok has been weird today. Things have been buffering forever.
I tried to. I had like about a 4-hour live the other day, and I always download the video.
Wait. So, am I safe to say if you guys believe in a globe and space and all of this stuff, then you guys believe in aliens and what was been happening in the last 2 years?
No.
So
here's what I personally believe.
So what about the government coming out with,
Yeah, governments say a lot of weird crap. So here's what I personally believe. Aliens are likely to exist somewhere in the universe. Alien life, whether that's microscopic, like single cell, or complex life like us, but they are highly, highly unlikely. It is improbable that they have visited us.
So what about the ex-minister of defense for Canada? I think it's called Paul Haler or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
He in 2008 he announced he was the first government of cabinet in the world to announce that there's been 4 alien species that have been living.
Yeah, you want a really good, plausible explanation for why a government would say aliens exist? Because if they're testing technology that they don't want to fall into enemy hands, and they want to have people across the world believe, like us, hey, this isn't technology that they're developing, it's technology that somebody else is doing, it's really easy to just say, yeah, no, those are UFOs. There might be aliens.
Because 90% of flat earthers believe what you believe in.
No. I believe in evidence, Nick. If you can provide empirical evidence that comports with objective reality,
but doesn't
then,
that show you,
something.
Nick? Doesn't that show you that, like, when you come in with, like, everybody just believes what the government tells them? So there's an example of not believing what the government tell you there, and not being in Patriot. Hello.
Oh yeah. No, so what I was going to say, I don't think the Earth is flat, but I also don't think it's kind of round. I think there's like a Hyperborea hole in the North and South poles that lead to an inner hollow Earth where a Garthan's like 8 foot tall, white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, sentient beings exist.
Look at his face.
They have to have blonde hair and blue eyes?
Blonde hair and blue eyes, yeah. And they have to be like 8-9 foot tall.
Was it the Moustache Man's master race?
Yeah, it is actually. They went there after World War II.
That makes sense.
That's more likely than flat
obviously
Earth to
I have
me.
evidence for it.
But flat earthers believe in that. That's what I'm trying to say. There's different types of flat earthers.
But people do believe in hollow Earth. Like, it's clearly trolling, but people do believe in hollow Earth.
Yeah, I'm clearly trolling.
And flat earthers believe in
Which is
hollow
why
earth.
we didn't come down on you and just started poking fun.
Yeah, I know.
Hang on.
Oh,
Michael's
have a
trying to
great
come
day.
back
See
up.
ya.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Thank you. So Nick, what was I going to say to you before? I can't even remember. Oh, yeah. So it's not a case of government says everybody does, is it? Like, I don't know what I think about aliens. I'm probably along the same lines as Josh. I'm probably along the lines of there must be somewhere, but have they been here? I haven't seen evidence. But I know people that are utterly convinced. And I know people that I've actually interviewed an alien abductee. I wasn't convinced by their story, but they were.
Sorry,
Yeah, go
I
on.
thought you were finished.
No, I'm done.
No, my favorite sort of circumstantial evidence for that is even like when people started traveling across the world back like hundreds, if not thousands of years ago. Anytime one civilization came into contact with another civilization, diseases were passed that wiped out entire like swaths of one of the civilizations. So like when the pilgrims landed in the US, what we now call the US, all of the natives ended up getting diseases that were terrible because they had never been exposed to them. So we're supposed to believe an alien race came here and didn't cause like mass unalivings due to a disease that they didn't know that would affect us. Like that's kind of weird.
I don't know, unless it wouldn't jump from species to species, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. It's in all likelihood there would be something that would you know what I mean? If unless we're talking about like silicone life forms
I'm going to ask you this
and
now,
things like
Josh.
that, if they're
I'm going to ask you
carbon
this now,
based.
Josh, which is weird. It's like a weird conversation to have with you, but I am of the belief, and I've said this a lot, and all the shows I do, and etc., that if there was an alien invasion now, nobody would believe it. Would you believe it? Like, if you saw a UFO in the sky above Florida, are you? Like, do you remember that show V back in the day? If it looked like that, if you were outside and there
No.
was this big UFO, would you think that's fake? Or would you think, oh shit, aliens exist?
I would probably think, like, if I walked outside right now and there was something that I've never seen before in the sky and it was really, really weird, I would probably think that there's a plausible explanation for it. And then as information came out about it, I would probably think at first, eh, I think these people are just trying to get like views off of claiming this is an actual alien ship and all that stuff. I would reserve like just believing that it's an alien ship carrying alien beings that
All
came
right,
from
what
outer
about this
space
then?
until there was
I'll up,
empirical evidence.
I'll up the ante for you. So you go outside and see an alien ship in the sky outside your house. You didn't go indoors, put the TV on. It's all over the US. There's a ship in every state.
Independence Day, basically.
It's Independence Day. Do you think because a big portion of people will say Project Bluebeam, that's not real, right?
No, and
They
I
just
think
won't believe it.
I
I
think it's real.
think I would probably be one of those people that at first would be like, no, there's something weird going on. Somebody's pulling our leg, blah blah blah. But if there was like actual empirical evidence of it, or like Independence Day, that ship started like destroying stuff, then yes, I'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So you wouldn't believe it until they shot you. Is that what you're saying?
Or there was some.
Whilst you were being eviscerated, you'd be like, okay, it's true.
Yeah.
I'd probably be the same. I probably would. What about you, Nick?
I think, right, that the powers that be they will always manipulate and say there's aliens when there isn't. But what we should question is realms. Look at realms, and if there is an alien that we could come across, we shouldn't view it as an alien, but as an entity. What entity is this? Where's it coming from? Is it coming from our oceans? Is it from another portal? Maybe we should have our views open-minded, and try to figure it out, than just to keep one closed mind and say it's from space.
I agree. I'm always open-minded, but like you're kind of not doing that yourself, like because you're just rejecting everything we're saying about the moon and the Earth because you've already made your mind up, right?
To end the whole flat Earth conversation is when I see people going to space on holiday, real proof of it, then I'll believe. Until then, I don't, think of anything. I'll just be like, I don't think.
I don't think you're going to say that. I don't think you're going to say that with anyone you trust anyway. Like, it's going to be rich people. I wouldn't want to go to space on holiday. I've got no interest in going to space for any reason. I just haven't.
So then how would you know if it's a globe or not then? You're in the same boat as me.
No, I'm not, because you don't have to go to space to tell that we live on a sphere. Everything
choosing a
points to
side
it.
like it's a gang or,
I'm not demanding evidence to be shown. I believe what I've seen because you can't fake what I've seen.
I believe, to be honest with you, 90% of flat earthers, I don't really know. I don't know about the egg. I don't know about inner earth and all of this stuff. But what I do know that is the government is lying and they're always manipulating us. I'm strong on that. And I don't.
Do you believe the government's lying about aliens?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that with this. The person that I told you about, Bill Cooper, who's an ex-naval
That's why I'm asking.
officer, right? And this guy, right, he was working on a naval ship, and he saw a spaceship come out the ocean and went back into the ocean, right? They didn't tell him, don't talk about it. And then he starts gaining a lot of information about aliens and this and that, and then he put it out into the public, and the FBI warned him, they beat him up, broke his leg or some shit, or shot him. And then after that, before he died with a shootout with the FBI, and he shot one of them, killed them, and then he ended up dying. But he wrote a book called Behold the Pale Horse. And in that book, and before he died, he ended up saying aliens is not real and it's all manipulation, all of it. They want you to believe in aliens. And
when was this?
Wait.
Because nobody has pushed aliens into the public domain to be believed. Everybody laughs. Like if aliens make the news, it's an end of news funny story.
So for example, with the whole Area 51, it was all about tourism at the time, and it spoke about in documentaries, in movies. They're always pushing this alien narrative, even in London 2020, no, was it 2011 or 2012?
2012 with the Olympics.
Yeah, they had the alien thing, and even on our TV, alien that.
Right, okay, hang on, sorry. This person at the top there, what have you come up to say, by the way?
And data lettuce is a global.
Yes. So there was a lot of suppositions that you made there that are very convenient. Like, he was a naval officer. He happened to see something and talked about it with no evidence that you're ready to share, unless you do have some video evidence.
That's not true. That's not true at all. That's not true at all.
Okay.
That is false. That is absolute false. If you go on YouTube and type in his name, he literally got lecturers and paperwork and documentations, and he's putting it up on the screen and talking about these things. What are you talking about? And he's a legit naval officer. He's a legit ex-naval officer. Also,
I will concede that.
What are you talking about? It's
Nick, weird how you're willing to accept paperwork from Bill Cooper, but not actual photos of the globe. That's bizarre to me. Is it easy to fake?
hey, listen, you're doing it again. You guys are doing it again. I keep saying this. Pictures, the video evidence. I don't think that is proof. End of. That's it. I don't care about you telling me I've done this, I've looked at this, I've looked at that. I don't care. On my
Nick,
naked
do you
eye,
know what?
on my common sense, on my five senses, I'm telling you that until I see actual evidence, like people are going into space.
I have a question for you.
What's evidence for you then? Because you've just said you don't accept videos and photos. So what's
literally,
I bet he does accept videos.
if they've taken normal people into space and they've fully recorded it properly, see the whole planet for itself, because no one have ever seen a video of
Nick,
the whole entire.
Have you ever seen?
You know what? This is the actual shape of it. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson, he said it looks like a pear. Like no one knows. Like
oh my goodness,
that was a figure
that's
of
not what
speech.
Neil deGrasse Tyson said.
I'm not the one that's
anyway.
It's
Nick,
you guys
have you ever
question.
seen? Have you ever seen a video?
You're playing devil advocate.
Nick, have you ever seen a video of a boat being zoomed back in beyond the horizon, proving the Earth is flat?
Yes, I've seen it, and I've also seen the debunk of Globers showing the curve. I've seen it all. But the thing that I'm trying to
but
you've seen a ship being zoomed back in, and you've seen a debunk of Globers. So you've never seen a ship going over the horizon and not being zoomed back in.
Yeah. And ultimately, my point is, you accepted the video, which you just said isn't evidence. You accepted the video of the ship being zoomed back in over the horizon. The overarching point I'm trying to make is the only evidence you will accept is evidence that agrees with your preconceived bias of what the Earth is.
No, you're just saying words right now. Honestly.
That's true. You have to accept that's true. That's the way this whole conversation's gone, Nick. And I quite like you. I think you're right. But you have got a conclusion before you don't know how you got there. You can't explain how you got there, but you're definitely there. Like, and you don't want to hear anything else. Like that.
No, I've heard, I've seen. This is what I'm trying to say. It is very simple. Until go on.
I think what Nick's trying to say is he'd like to see a full view of the planet.
Thank you.
And I think what that would be a most amazing shot ever. And it's funny that nothing's ever come off the planet far enough to look back and take.
Weird, Kentucky. Exactly. We've had that since 1972. Actually, we've had that since.
Come on, who you saying?
We have a Hubble telescope that could easily zoom right into the planet.
No,
it just spaced at us.
You guys don't understand how
we have an international space station that I can track on my phone where and when it's going to show up in my sky from where I am.
It's still there's no view. There's no live shot of the Earth spinning on its axis in space.
Yes, there is.
No, there isn't.
There is not a complete shot.
Hold on.
Kentucky, you mean is you don't believe any that you've seen, right? You can't say that.
There is not a faraway view of the planet spinning once every 24 hours on its axis. There's no view.
How fast do you
know
think
how
it
much
spins?
space debris is supposedly orbiting the planet?
Josh, this is one for you. So you think you would see the space debris from space with a camera?
No, not what. Another interesting point doesn't have to do with that. Let's say you were in a rocket and you wanted to go to outer space. If I shot you straight up off the planet's turning 1,000 miles per hour. As soon as you get out of the atmosphere,
it's not like a car goes 1,000 miles an hour, is it?
17,000 miles per hour. That means you're entering a freeway of over, I think, 200,000 objects moving at 17,000
factually incorrect. Factually incorrect. That's just factually incorrect. You don't know what you're talking about. Do you want to go through how it actually works?
What he's talking about.
I'm telling you, if you a rock and shoot you off this planet, you have to contend with 200,000 pieces of space debris moving at 17,000 miles per hour.
You don't.
You would have to circle the planet, get up to speed, and join the freeway.
Okay,
or you
so
get
Do you
shredded.
Kentucky.
understand how big space is? Do you understand how big
It's
space
irrelevant.
is,
Do
even
you
in
The
do you
low Earth
space
orbit?
station
understand?
orbits once every hour and 15 minutes. So
Right, and
every
how
piece
long
of
does
debris
it
out
take
there.
them? Kentucky. Good
Yeah.
Lord, dude. You
Good
gotta
Lord, dude,
be
let him
quiet to
talk.
listen.
Hey, how
Okay.
did you make it through all that space debris on your way to the moon?
It's trying to tell
So,
you.
man. So,
And you know how big space is? It's
It's trying to tell you,
25,000 miles in
Kentucky.
Miss
circumference.
Molly.
It's the size of the Earth.
Let him answer then. Do you want an answer? Do you? Because he's
Yeah.
trying to.
So from the time they launched, currently it's called Crew Dragon. Crew Dragon is the rocket that goes to the space station from Kennedy Space Center. When they launch that, from the time it launches till the time it docks is just under 24 hours because they do not fly straight there. They start in a lower orbit than the ISS is to do exactly what you're claiming they need to do. They have to gain speed and merge onto the highway. 99.9% of all space debris and satellites and everything is above the space station. Human beings put
Exactly.
those satellites in space. We know where they are. We also put the ISS in space. We said, hey, it would be kind of dumb to put this thing in the middle of the highway where all of these other things are. Let's put it a little bit lower.
How many things are there orbiting the planet?
That's
So,
exactly
How many?
why.
functional.
That's exactly why our freeways are separate from our surface streets.
Functional
How many
satellites is
pieces?
around
How many pieces?
Kentucky.
functional.
Did you think rockets just went straight up into space? Nothing went into orbit.
No, the point is once you go into space, you have to catch that orbit speed. You have to
Right.
match that orbit speed.
And
You
they
can't
just
do it within the
it's just
atmosphere.
explained that.
You can't do it with drag.
What's the orbital speed for anything above the ISS? Do you know what the claimed orbital speed is for above the ISS versus below the ISS?
No, I don't. But on a side note of
Okay,
that,
do you think
said they
that
dock.
matters?
Well,
Do you think Kentucky, do you think it matters? Do you think
okay.
knowing the orbital
Is
speed
the
above and
space
below
station
matters?
is falling around the Earth at 17,000 miles per hour, correct?
17,500 on average,
Okay.
yes.
Well, I don't have to know the above or the below because I know the
Sure
start.
you do.
Wait a minute.
Just let
To
him
make a
land.
claim.
My
Kentucky
trajectory,
talk,
I'm
please.
moving at 1,000 miles an hour.
Just
Okay.
let him talk.
And the space station's moving
No,
at
wait,
17.
Kentucky, where do you live?
Just let Kentucky talk. You just
Do you live
I
in
live
Kentucky,
on the
Kentucky?
planet Earth that's moving 1,000
Yeah,
miles an
but in
hour.
the U.S., we're not moving 1,000 miles
come
per
on,
hour
guys, man.
tangentially. We're
Wait a
moving
minute.
slowly.
Wait a minute.
Josh, hold on.
Wait a
Josh,
minute. We're
Josh,
not moving 1,000 miles per hour.
Kentucky, did you want to say, because Nick's screaming for everyone to let you talk? I'm trying to be fair here. Do you want to say
are
something?
we moving
Just say
or
it.
not moving?
Are you asking me?
Well, somebody said we're not moving 1,000 miles
Yes,
per hour.
you don't measure rotational speed in miles per hour. You don't go to Home Depot to buy a drill and say, "Give me the drill
Yeah.
that moves at 5,000 miles per hour."
Well, how
You
many
say, "Give me the drill."
revolutions per minute would you like to call
Zero,
the
Exactly that.
24-hour cycle?
Yeah,
How many revolutions per minute?
0.000069.
Yeah,
It's very slow. It'd be like
30694.
looking at a clock. If you were in space, it'd be looking at the minute hand of a
Actually,
clock.
it'd
You would
be
barely
no.
perceive the movement of the
It's the
Earth.
hour hand.
Kentucky, the hour hand, and it's
Half.
twice as slow as
Yeah.
the hour hand. Twice as slow as the hour hand.
Yes.
It's extremely slow.
But let's keep it just as simple. How do you shoot yourself off this planet, get up to speed, right? Miss the debris. And how come there's not one live footage of all this docking we do?
Did you not hear anything? He just you just asked that, and he explained exactly how they do it, and now you're asking again.
Where's the videos of them building it?
Every time
you've
the
just
space
changed
shuttle
your-
went up in the 80s, dude. Do you ever watch
No,
any
where's the
videos of the space
That's
shuttle?
an amazing event. I'd like to see when they build
Kentucky,
that.
Kentucky. This is why these things get off the rails. Why can't you just say, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that. That explains my
Well, I
question."
haven't heard
But
anything
instead,
I
you've
didn't
just
know
ignored. You've just ignored everything he said, and now you're saying, "Yeah, okay. What about this then?"
No, but
just concede.
What didn't I know?
So here
You didn't even know
Kentucky,
they was
here's the
in
problem.
orbit. You thought they went straight into space and had
They're-
to dodge debris.
Kentucky,
No,
Kentucky, you're
they do have to
debating.
dodge debris. The rocket's
No,
moving at
no,
You're on Earth,
Kentucky,
bub.
there are
You fly
you're
off.
you're
there
You
are
have to get to
debating.
there are
17,000 miles per hour or get hit
there
by
are
something.
there are massive fleets of people that track everything in orbit on a daily basis.
Yes.
It used to be part of the Air Force. Now they are part of the Space
When's the
Force.
last time that you heard them
And
that said,
we track that all the time.
That's
we track
great.
it every
So
day.
you know
When's
where
the
they're
last
at.
time we heard
So
of
we know
something
No,
getting
but
exactly
hit?
when's the last
when
time they
and
told
when
you
not
this?
to launch.
JWST.
No.
JWST got hit the second it opened its mirrors.
When's the last time you heard they said, now we're going to get the space shuttle up to orbitational speed to match the debris? When's the last time you heard
Orbitational
anybody
speed?
talk
What's
about launching a
orbitational
rocket
speed?
and worried about debris?
Because they know where it is,
Have you
and they know
seen?
they're
Have you
going to
guys
be
seen the
below
map
it.
of the debris around the planet?
And yes.
Look
Kentucky,
at it. Isn't it amazing?
Kentucky.
It's not to
your
scale.
Point, Kentucky. To your point,
Yes.
we do make mistakes. There are micro debris that do hit the space shuttle. Have you seen or looked up any photos of the glass on the front of the space shuttle?
Well, let me ask you
It
something. How is
often
it? How does
has.
how
It
how
often
once it's in
has
orbit? How does it get
breaks.
hit by other things in orbit?
Because we know where they
Be-
are and
But
we're
how could you
below
get
it.
hit by something if you're in orbit at a certain level, doing 17,000 miles, falling around the Earth? How does
Because
another
it's
object
not-
in orbit catch you?
Because something is orbiting from a different angle and it can hit the front of you
Okay,
if it's
so
going the other direction.
And some of that stuff we can't track. A micrometeor is typically
No,
the
that's
size of a
outside.
grain of
Meteors are
dust.
outside. I was just talking about space junk we have up there.
Kentucky, you got to be quiet in order to understand. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Please use them in that ratio. A micrometeor
Not what I was
is
talking
like a
about.
piece. That's what hit the space shuttle.
Yeah, well, wasn't talking about what hits the space shuttle. I was asking you about existing debris from us in
Yes,
space.
this is existing debris. It's called micrometeors. Are you here to just like say what you want to say and not hear anybody else?
I would like to learn. So,
Okay, in order to learn, you have to be quiet, right? And hear the answer to your question.
Have to be
You can't just
listening.
ask the question, jump to another question, and never hear any answers.
You
Then
can't
you
say
don't
that
learn
to
anything,
I
right?
would tell you what.
He's
Go
listening.
with your answer.
Okay, cool. Micrometeors are things that we can't track because they're too small, but they're also extremely spaced out. The stuff that we put up there, even stuff that gets damaged and broken apart, we can track it because it's large enough to show up on our radars and other systems that are tracking these things that Space Force is taking care of. We also know that the only satellites that are below the ISS are extremely small, and most of them are what Elon Musk is putting up there for Starlink. So we can go in between them. That's why they have, if you ever look up when they're going to do a launch at Kennedy Space Center, that I watch with my own 2 eyes from my front yard on a regular basis.
You watch a
You'll
rocket
see-
go in the air. What did you see?
Yes.
Did you see it go into space? See, I don't know. When you
Yes,
talk,
yes,
Thank you, Kentucky.
yes,
Thank
you
yes,
quantify
Kentucky.
what
behaving
you
like
say.
he's a pilot.
It's a lot.
Kentucky, I can watch the stage separation and the second stage start its burn. Guess
in
what
the
it's doing?
atmosphere.
No,
You
guess what
just
it's
see.
doing when the
You
second
have not
stage.
seen. You have never seen anything go into space through this
So you
invisible
say.
barrier.
So you
Right.
say. So you say.
No,
You haven't. Are you the
haven't.
pilot? Are you
Your
actually?
But
eyeballs aren't
here's
super. We all see it do its thing. It's in the air.
Yes.
so you say. Yet we
No,
can see
I
the
say
ISS.
none of us
You can
have.
see the IS. You can see the ISS with your own 2 eyes if you so choose.
You can
But here's
see.
the thing I was trying to
But
say. Since you
No
deflected
equipment
me
is
needed.
it in
off of the point.
space? Is the International Space Station in space?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes. Anything above 62 miles
Yeah.
of the surface of Earth is space.
Well, wait a minute.
The
I gotta-
ISS
I
is
gotta take you-
250 miles above the Earth.
Kentucky, you're just regurgitating information. He's not intelligent. He's smart. He's not
Listen,
intelligent.
Nick, I only got on because you're getting slammed.
Okay.
When
I
there
know.
should be
Kentucky-
clear
It's fine. It's
information.
fine. Honestly, it's fine.
Kentucky, here's the point. If you look up any schedule for a rocket launch, they have a window. And it'll say the window opens at X time and closes at X time. There's a
Okay,
reason why there's a specified time for
but
those things.
as you
Part
said,
of it is
what
to
about those?
avoid, part
Wait a
of it
minute.
is to avoid exactly what you're saying they
Okay,
need to avoid.
I hear you, but as you stated, as you brought up, them micrometeors, man, they could be a bitch. How in the hell
Yeah, going
is
to
it the
space is
number one
dangerous.
concern? Why don't they tell you when they're going up? Well, as long as we can make it through those micrometeors, right? The problem
That's
is
a
the space
known
launch.
that's a known danger. Just like anyone that goes in a submarine under the water
Yeah.
has a known danger of the submarine imploding.
Well, if I
It's a
was
known danger.
if I was building a rocket, right, I would have concerns for my buddy. And all my concerns I would have to get my buddy into space are
hmm
I don't see them being addressed in these
So,
Okay,
issues
so
that we're
Kentucky.
doing this.
your buddy also signed up for the same job and understands the
Mhm.
same concerns, and like
I
it
don't
is
want them to
very
die. So I'm going to be real concerned about micrometeors, all this stuff. And this would be my
Yeah,
main
Kentucky,
concern.
how many times has that happened? How many times has
yeah. So
someone unalived due to this? How
I
many
don't.
astronauts has NASA lost?
Well, I'm just saying, why isn't it, all I'm pointing for that point is how come reality concerns are not the things they talk about when they're
It
doing
is
these
what they
things?
talk about.
No,
It
it's
is
not.
what they talk about.
I talk about them all the time. I have done entire lectures on what we are talking about right now.
And another thing
Can I-
is, what
Testo
about
syndrome.
talking about how it gets up to speed to match up with the International Space Station? How
They
come
do
those
it all the
things
time.
aren't
All you
talked
got to
about?
do is look it up.
We
This
Can I ask-
information is
I'm,
free.
Kentucky,
I am one of the
Kentucky.
many people.
Kentucky, sorry,
Yeah,
mate. Can I ask a question? Kentucky, do you think
Yes.
that they launch rockets? Do you think that it's real at all? I just want to know where you are
Yes,
with
I
this.
believe they launch rockets. I
Why?
believe they made
Okay,
the
why?
space shuttle. I believe they made the space shuttle for the reason is they wanted to cut expenses with fooling you that what they're doing, right?
Okay, do you
understand?
think-
This
do you
is
think
real
the
plain.
Earth is
now
flat?
they're back to punching rockets into
Do
the
you
air,
think?
right?
Do you think the Earth is flat?
You're trying to bring it back
I
down to
think
basics.
this. I think this.
No.
Not anybody here can possibly know because
Right. But
of
what
this,
do you
I
think?
think.
of
I
this
didn't say
reason,
what.
right?
So what do you
But
think
I
the
know
Earth
this
is flat?
that you cannot have pressure. You cannot have
This is what you kept typing in the
one
room. This is
square
why I
inch
brought you
pound
up.
of pressure on your body right now. You have pressure on your
Okay,
body right now. You cannot have that without a container.
So the answer is
Okay,
yes.
hold
Then.
on.
Gravity
let-
is a theory,
host-
not
Right,
a
so the
fact.
answer. So hold on. Before we go off on that, so the answer is yes. You think the Earth is flat, and you think there's a
No,
firmament.
no. I say the only educated thing a person could say. I am unsure, but I'm sure it's in a container. How about
Right.
that?
So there's a
of some sort?
firmament, right?
Oh, so
You,
you
well,
are sure.
it has some kind of container, and it's not gravity holding the molecules
Right.
of air
Okay.
down.
Okay.
The pressure
I'm trying to. I'm
have
trying to go
one-
somewhere with this. Why are they launching rockets if they can't go anywhere?
That is a whole nother thing from where we're talking about the ability to be able to do something versus why they would do it. There's a lot of
But you
theories.
don't
why they
even.
would do it.
If you think we've got a container, you don't even believe in space
Why
debris.
would I
So
think
why are
the
you talking
whole
about
shit
it?
about space was? I think it could have possibly been a thing before technology, like they said, to do with the space race and trying to bluff that we're so far ahead technology and everything.
To
I
who?
don't know what the reason is. There could be a million reasons, but that's what
Yeah,
it
who
started.
did they
them
lie
off.
to?
How did they quit?
Kentucky, who were they trying to bluff
Okay.
with their
I
Because
technology?
don't
if
know.
everyone
That's a
would know,
whole
if
nother-
there was a
listen, that's a whole
firmament,
nother
if there
line.
hold on, Kentucky, please.
Theory.
If everybody knows there's a firm, if everybody in power in the world must know we're under a dome, right?
Okay,
so
that
so
would
who
have-
would we be pretending we went to the moon to?
Okay, that would have great implications. If
I
there was a
have- I have
dome
some
and you're in a
simple questions.
fishbowl, if you're in a fishbowl, first of all, that's going to change the way everybody runs their lives. And
But
You
all
might
of the
lose half the
governments
workforce
in the
instantly.
world, all of the governments in the world would know we was in a fishbowl, right? So they
Okay,
would,
so how many? Take every continent and look at it like a 7-Eleven. Okay, and some guy, some person owns each 7-Eleven. Right? They all get together. They want more workers. What do? They put women into the workforce, right, to double the work capacity.
I have a few questions.
Just let him
Milk
land.
can
Just let
be
him
$1
land.
a gallon.
Okay,
or it
let
can
him
be
finish.
$10
Let
a
him
gallon.
finish. I don't know where he's going either, but
Well,
let's
I'm
hear it.
going. You moved off of this. It's the reason is that everything you may not be able to understand.
No, I don't.
why they're
What it is,
faking
mate,
you
like,
on
hold
space.
on. I didn't move off of it. I'm trying to understand what you actually believe and what your point is. Like, you're arguing about rocket
I believe
launches,
I
and I'm
cannot
saying, why are you even
conceptualize
talking
where I'm
about
at.
it if you
I
don't
can't
believe in
conceptualize
space?
where I'm at without more information. But I can know that there's pressure in this system, right? And I can know you cannot have a magical barrier where a rocket can fly through, and all of a sudden there is no there's space, and it's how many Kelvin? 300 Kelvin below zero out there. I tell you what would have made more sense if they would have told the lie. They could have said an asteroid hit the Earth, mainly of water. It exploded,
So,
it steamed up, and in all directions, it went out towards space. When it got
so
towards space, it created an ice
Kentucky,
wall, a
can I
bubble
ask you a
around the whole
logical
planet. That would
Kentucky?
be a reality
Kentucky, can I
of
ask
what
you a
it could be.
logical consistency question?
Yeah,
Who tells us that space is cold?
space is cold in the objective to matter,
How do you know?
just like the
Wait, how
sun
do you
is
know? We
objective
can't
to
go
heat and
there.
molecules in matter.
Kentucky, how do you
Yes.
know space is cold if we can't go there?
Well, I know that if you go just in our own atmosphere, right? As you go up, you'll
But
freeze.
how do you know
You'll
space is
freeze in
cold?
an
We
airplane,
can't go there.
man. And
Yeah, but
at
that's
one
weird.
point,
That's strange. That Kentucky, isn't it? Because if we're in a dome and the sun's up there, that it would be warmer up there, surely.
what happens?
That's
when we
strange,
talk
isn't it?
about
It's
this
strange that
subject
there's
of where
mountain
we're
tops
at?
with snow on, and the sun's
It's,
flying
well,
just
here's the
overhead.
thing.
And it's
If I can
it's
conceive that I don't know what I'm on because I don't have enough
weird.
information to
It's weird,
define it, but
but
nobody
we
else
can
can.
easily
Everybody
test it.
uses
We
their.
we can easily test it, Kentucky. That's the point. But what's weird to me is, on one hand, you say it's ridiculous that they can fly into space when it's 300 Kelvin, and NASA lies about everything. Yet you're accepting NASA when they say space is 300 degrees Kelvin below
No,
zero.
no. I accept the higher up I go in the
All
atmosphere,
right,
it gets
host.
extremely cold,
Host,
and you would think that
nice to
the
meet you.
atmosphere would
I'll be back
freeze
later.
and create an ice dome.
Hold on, what's
That's
that?
what you would think.
Data said he's leaving.
Oh, sorry, mate. Do you want to say anything before you went, or have you got to go right now?
Yeah, if I can say
Yeah,
a
go on.
couple
I've
succinct,
not let you speak
questions.
much because
Data,
everyone's
just tell
competing,
me to
but go
shut
for it.
up. You deserve to talk. My bad.
Okay, so if there's a firmament and our atmosphere is in a container, our atmosphere is gas. Gas fills this container. Kentucky, are we agreed on that?
Something creates pressure. Yes, what you have on your body at this very moment, pressure, atmospheric pressure. You have
Okay, so why do we have a difference between the bottom of Mount Everest and the top of Mount Everest in pressure? If gas just fills the entire firmament equally,
Yes.
why is there a differential there? Why is there a difference
You know,
between the bottom
I-
of Mount Everest and the top of Mount Everest?
Do
Between
you know
14
why?
pascals and 5 pascals
Yes.
of
Do
pressure.
you know why?
Because of, I do know why. I'm asking you if you know
No,
why.
I don't.
It's because
I
of
hadn't.
gravity.
I hadn't thought the question. I need a minute just to think about it. But the fact is, do you know why? Because I'd like to know.
Yes, I do. I just explained it to you. Gravity.
No. Do you know why the pressure is difference that you just said? Do you know why that is?
He told you twice, man.
I
You're not listening.
just-
Why is it
Yeah.
different?
Because gravity is pulling the molecules of the atmosphere toward the center of the Earth, which is a sphere. It's pulling down. So things that pile up,
Yeah. But why is it? Just tell me. Oh no, sorry, I can resist. Yeah, that's the first.
And why
time.
does it matter? It's a sphere. Why does gravity matter for it being a sphere?
because
And why
you
does
can
it pulling
measure
it
the
down?
you can
make a
measure the
difference?
same effect on the other side of the planet from another mountain.
Gravity would pull a flat plane into a sphere if it existed. That's why flat earthers all say it doesn't exist.
I mean, gravity is a proven effect, but it's still a theory.
No, it's a
If we were
theory and a
moving at a-
law.
if
No.
Oh,
gravity
not the
could be
theory
velocity-
argument again. Does
Gravity
anybody
could be-
look up what scientific theory means before they say that? Does anybody ever do that?
Hypothesis is
Look.
the word you were looking for. But
We can't explain gravity.
Look, guys. The point is, we all don't fucking
We
know.
we can
We
in
accept
Kentucky.
it. We accept the reality of
No,
gravity, but we
Kentucky.
can't
What is the
explain it.
Kentucky? What is a definition of a scientific theory? Do I have to Google it and put it on
Oh, well,
screen?
it's a theory. That's the
No,
definition of it.
no. So the definition of a
It's a
scientific
theory.
theory.
It's in the
No,
word.
cheers,
Kentucky.
guys.
Hold on.
Cheers.
See you, Davis.
Cheers.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't be sorry, man. We're learning. I'm either going to get educated.
What?
I mean, I feel
Well,
like I'll just get
I
smarter
don't
by
know
talking
that
to you guys.
you're learning because all you're doing is talking. You're
I
not
have to
really
ask the
listening.
But you're
questions. I
talking
have
as
to tell you
well.
my
You can't
view.
say that to.
Yeah, but he's actually saying things, Nick. He's actually explaining things. He's not just saying, I don't know this and I don't know. You two, both of you, have come in with bold claims, been asked to drill down on your claims. And both of, well, I'm not claiming to know anything. I'm here to learn. Well, then
Nick was
what
just
do you
having
want to
a
keep
hard time.
talking for then?
Look,
Nick was just having a hard time articulating. I understood his thoughts.
So are you, Kentucky.
no. The
Let's be
problem
honest.
is,
you,
the problem
but you
is,
couldn't
both are
understand
suffering
what
from
Nick
the
was
same
trying to.
problem
But
is-
it was
problem
clear
is-
that
A
Nick was trying
scientific
to say,
theory.
get a far picture from the planet.
Yeah,
in
we
orbit,
have.
an entire
We
photo.
have.
no, we
We
haven't.
do it every day.
Oh my god, no, we
We
haven't.
do it
No,
every day
Nick,
from a
Nick.
million miles away. A
We haven't.
million miles away, we get
They
new
do not
photos every
have
40 minutes.
a complete view
Every
of the planet
40.
in rotation.
Kentucky, we do. Look it up.
Hazel.
Nick,
A
why do I
scientific
think that,
theory.
Nick?
Jesus. A
Nick, why do I
scientific
think that you
theory
don't, Nick?
can because you are obstinate.
Uh,
You're like talking to a toddler.
you
That
are
is
like,
why.
hey, you
What
are
is going on
objectively
there?
blind.
Globey- Globey's
in-
You're
blind.
reading that. Yeah,
You
you're
say
Globey
you're
is-
on a ball because you
I'm
say you're on a
objectively
ball.
blind. So, Kentucky, what measurements have you taken to show that we are not on a ball? Because
Listen.
I have, and it shows we are on
Okay.
a ball. Have you taken any measurements?
The fact is, you don't know, man. We ain't
Okay,
flown up
so-
there.
You
Look,
keep saying
Weird answer to the question. Have you,
You know
taken
what
any
you have-
measurements? Have you taken any measurements? Have you taken any measurements?
no
Go ahead.
preponderance of common sense.
Oh,
Let's
so
common
common
sense.
sense. So you
That it's
use your
bullshit.
senses and your eyes.
No,
right?
no, my brain.
Hazel.
brain-
Does your brain
understanding that
tell
there's
you,
not a magical barrier
Kentucky?
that Elon can fly in and out of, and our atmosphere don't get sucked into the vacuum.
We
of
need
space.
Globey
But that
McGlobe
seems to be
faces
your
keys.
only argument, and it's already
No.
been debunked 5
Let's
minutes
have
ago.
more. There's other points of all kinds of things that aren't. Listen,
Is the
I'm
sun?
mechanical
You
by
right, hold on.
nature.
I'm going to ask you a question because you just said common sense, right? And I'm going to ask you very simple questions that are just
Yes.
common sense. So you
Yes.
say we live in a dome, right? So is
No.
your sun and
No.
moon? Yes, you
Wrong.
did. You just said we need
say
to be in a firmament.
we have to be in some kind of container because we have
A
atmosphere.
container.
Okay, so
What-
a dome.
so it doesn't have
But
to
I
be a
don't know
dome.
if we live on a
Whatever.
flat plane or what.
Okay, whatever it is, where is the
pyramid.
sun? Where is the sun?
Okay, your topics. I mean, like each section of what you're talking about is a complete
You know,
thing. But where
this
the
is what
sun?
frustrates me.
Or do
You
you
know
wanna
if
know
you
if the sun
answer,
is
you
inside
know if you
or
answer, you're
outside
going
our
to get
firmament?
destroyed. You know if
Guys.
you answer, you're going to get
Guys,
annihilated.
no,
So
no,
you
no,
choose
just
to not answer.
Guys, let me just
Where
say
No,
something.
I will.
the
I will
sun?
answer. Where do I think the sun is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You know, I've never been asked that. So just give me a second because I want to just tell you how I feel.
Oh,
How can you have a
I just
worldview
wanna
if you
tell
don't
you
know
guys,
about
let
where
me
the
just ask
sun
I
you.
think the
is?
sun is as far away as they say it is.
Right. So is
Because
it
they say
within
it's
the?
how far do they say it's away?
93 million miles. How do you prove
Okay.
that it's not that far away, Kentucky?
Oh, I
But
can't.
Can you
no,
prove
no,
it?
I'm
I
not
can't.
letting him get away with this. Is
I
it
can't, but
within
listen.
the container? Yes or no?
93,000 miles away,
Million.
million miles away. Okay. And what they say the sun does by its rays and how it heats our atmosphere and how we get our benefits from it.
Is
correct?
the sun within the dome? That is my question. I don't care about distance.
No, I wouldn't.
You
I
don't
wouldn't-
know that.
No,
You didn't know that.
I would if I had to just guess. Because
What
I
do
don't
you
have
mean
enough
you
facts to
don't
say.
know that?
People
No,
say
don't know
people
if it's
say
in
the
the dome
rays.
or-
Then
Not in the
you've not done any research on
No,
anything.
people say the rays come down like it's local, and they say that the reason
I bet
the
you've
rays
liked.
go-
I bet you've clicked like on videos when someone said the sun's in this cloud. Look at
No.
the rays. It proves it. I bet you gone. Yeah,
No.
that proves it.
No, I really haven't
Damn
spent
right.
any time because I have to get past step one before I can move to step two and figure out.
What's
Oh, if the
what's
sun's
step
real,
one?
if I want to
What
figure
is
out what
step
kind of
one?
planet I'm on, right? If I'm on
What is
in a
step
dome or
one,
not a dome.
Kentucky?
Right, okay,
Kentucky,
I'm
Step
going to
what
one
get
is
to
would
my
be
point. I'm going to get
step
to my
one.
point because you're not going to answer. So I'm going to
No,
tell
I
you
can
now,
answer
the sun.
the sun. I wouldn't think the sun was the sun and it was local because of what they tell us it is, a gaseous star or something. But what you're asking me is the Earth flat and is the sun a heat source that's up there and it's actually closer? That's what you're trying to ask me, and I really don't know because I haven't thought about it.
Right,
You
well, I'll
understand?
tell you a way to think about
But
it.
93,000 miles is a
Million.
big freaking distance to be
Million.
able to still
93
see,
million.
or million miles is a gigantic distance to
So
still
let me
be
tell
able to
you,
see.
let me tell you how we know it's not close.
And
Right?
well, can I
Really
ask a
simple.
question? If the sun's 93,000 miles and I get this warm feeling from it in my atmosphere, how come all the other planets, million miles?
Million.
Listen, how come all the other planets that are anywhere near it aren't just fried?
They
What are
are.
you talking about? Right, anyway, so the sun,
What I'm
if it
talking
was
about,
close,
anything
I'm
that's like
going to
2
finish
million
this
from the sun
sentence.
is dust, right?
If the sun is close, you would see it get closer and bigger as it comes towards you and smaller as it goes far away. We don't see that. Therefore, we know it is very, very, very far away. That is my point.
Well, can I just piggyback on that point? Like,
That's
it
a
also doesn't
realistic.
change angular speed, which it would have to, and that's a point that not many flat earthers want to address.
What's that, Ched?
It doesn't change angular speed if it's flying over our heads.
Exactly, yeah. That too.
Yeah,
Right,
angular speed
talk
or
amongst
angular
yourself. I've just got to
size.
go check something. I'll be two secs.
Yeah, I never
Fair
thought
enough.
much about the sun.
So Ched, for what Cass was talking about, the host. What happens if you're standing in your backyard and you see a plane flying towards you, and then it passes over you, and then it flies away from you, and you watch it from the first second you can see it till the last second you can't see it? What happens to that plane as it flies towards you, passes overhead, and then goes away?
You know, the only problem with your thing there, you don't have the
I'm not a flat earther, by the way.
to perceive the reality.
It's weird how you don't want to answer the question,
No,
Chet.
because what you're
Or
trying to say,
Kentucky. Sorry,
you
Chet.
don't have the eye power to be able to say what you say.
So what happens to
So
the
what you see
plane
is your
as it gets
perception, not a
closer to
fact.
you? Does
Okay,
the plane
just to let everyone know, I've
appear?
got 5 more minutes here, right? And then I'm going to go eat. So get your
Fair
last
enough.
arguments out.
So Chet, here's the point. Anything on the face of Earth, whether it's a mountain,
Brother,
a
I'm not a flat
gnat,
earther, by
a
the way.
bird, a plane, as it gets closer to you or you get closer to it, it grows in size. And as you get further away from it, or it gets further away from you, it shrinks in size. There's a law for this. It's called the law of perspective. Double the distance, half the size. So we
Is
can
Ched
start
arguing
to.
against that? Ched, you're not a flat earther, are you? Did he say Ched?
No, he keeps saying shed.
No, I'm saying Ched by mistake.
Oh, right.
um,
So,
Yeah,
but
yay.
So, Kentucky, the fact that the sun doesn't change angular size over the course of a day means we can start to say, hey, it can't be 10 miles above us. It can't be 100 miles above us. It can't be 3,000. It can't be 5,000 because we know where the subsolar point, like if you live in New York and the sun starts to rise, we know it's noon for someone else on Earth and that
Yeah,
the sun is directly above them. And we know how far away that spot is on Earth. So
that makes
we
sense.
can start to say how far away the sun is just by that, but you can actually measure the distance to the sun yourself and prove that it's over 90 million miles away.
Yeah, I haven't never. I just got asked the question about the sun. You know, I never have considered all the things about it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was trying to tell you when you said I wouldn't answer. I was just trying to tell you,
Well,
damn,
the
you asked
problem
me
you
a question
have,
I've never considered.
and
You
the
know,
argument
the,
by big numbers isn't an
the
argument.
things you say are right
Kentucky,
about why
the
the sun
problem
would
you
be
have
far
is
away.
if the sun is really, really far away from flat Earth, then there's no day or night anymore. Everything
Yeah,
is
exactly.
lit up the same. That's
the
the
flat
problem you
earthers
have.
have an
Exactly. They
explanation.
have to put it close, and then they can pretend it only lights up certain parts of the plane. If you take it way
Right.
away, it's going to light the whole thing, and that's why they put it close. You got to think about this
Yeah.
stuff.
But the thing is, the you want to talk about the sun? Well, just go to the moon. Is it inconceivable to you
I
that the moon is
measured the distance to the
250,000 miles
moon.
away?
No, but let
Yes,
him talk.
Kentucky.
Oh,
I
God.
measured it myself.
And wait a minute, and you can see definition of craters on it with your naked
Yes,
eye?
because the moon is 1/4 the size of Earth. It's gigantic.
Yes.
I measured the distance to the moon myself. When I measured it, I got 249,000 miles, which is 1% off from what we're told. But the moon is also on an elliptical orbit. So I'm 1% off of the average, but it's on an elliptical orbit, which means sometimes it's closer and sometimes it's further away. You
And
can do this as well.
yeah, well, besides it, just let me, the definition we can see on the moon, right? With our naked eye, right? The
Mhm.
definition of the craters and everything.
Most of those craters are
Why do you believe
larger
that
than
we can
US
see
cities
250,000 miles away and see definition?
because most of those craters are larger than US cities.
It's a long way for
And if the
definition.
moon's its own light, how do the craters have shadows? Does that make any?
It's a long way for definition.
Yeah, Kentucky, you don't see definition with your own two eyes. You use a telescope,
Yeah, I don't know what you
which
said.
No, but
makes
you can
them
look
more
at the moon and
resolved.
You
see
said your naked eye. You can't see it with your naked eye. You can see the moon
you
with your
can
naked
see
eye.
the shadow in the moon, the man in the moon.
You can't see
those
the
forms.
craters and the shadows in the craters with your naked
No,
eye.
but you see the shadows. That's why people would always talk about the man in the moon. My point is, we can see a lot of definition for such a distance.
So, Kentucky, would it surprise you if you could see, say, Mount Everest from 75 miles away?
You know, again, man, I don't know anything about the power of
It's
the human eye.
weird how you don't want to answer
No,
questions.
I don't
I'm
know if
asking your
you could
opinion.
see the definition from 75 miles away.
Yeah,
I don't.
but you
I
could
don't.
see
guys,
the
listen, I'm
outline
out.
of.
I don't know
You
the
could see.
parameters of the human
Thanks for
eye,
having
and
me
why
on.
would I
Oh my
speak on it
goodness.
if I didn't know?
So then, why are you saying we can't see something 250,000 miles away?
250,000 miles is enough.
But
for
you
me to
don't know the
I can't
parameters
see
of the
that
human
far.
eye. You just admitted you don't know how the human eye works, yet you want to say we can't see something.
Well,
That's
that's the plan.
weird.
It's because we've all got
250,000 miles
our
away,
own
and I can
personal
see
down.
the shadow difference of a crater on the moon. I just asked you.
What
I'm
was
not
that,
saying
Chad?
I know why. I was asking you. You got a good answer for that?
So the only shadow you see with your naked eye on the moon
Cheers, Nick.
is its phase.
Okay.
You don't see shadows in the craters with your naked eye.
Okay. But
Now,
what
if
I
you take
see,
out binoculars or a telescope
I
that
just
are
wonder
going
how
to
come.
change the resolution of the angular resolution of the moon, you will start to see those things. And if you get an even more powerful telescope,
But with my
yes,
naked
you
eye,
can see the definition because
I got,
those things are gigantic
I got
compared
an
to you.
honest question here.
One
With
more
my
question,
naked
then I'm going
eye,
to shoot.
how
Go.
come the reflection of the moon's light at that distance, how come it's not bright enough to overcast those shadows that I tell you I see with my naked eye by the time it gets 250,000 miles to me? How come I can still
Because
see
the
that?
light is being reflected, just like when you go outside on a sunny day in a
Got you.
park.
I understand. You're saying when the cavern in the craters has a different
Does
reflection,
the
so I
does the
still
light
see that.
reflecting off of
Yes.
the park ground
Yes.
overcome the shadow of the tree?
No, I understand what the point you just made, and yeah, that would make sense.
Cool.
Look,
Okay. Thanks. Let's end it on a friendly note then. Thanks everyone for coming up.
Sorry, what?
Cheers.
Look, debating makes us all smarter in the end, and if you're strong enough to debate and be challenged, right, you will do nothing but gain knowledge. Either way, the stupidest person can teach us something, and so can the
Sure.
smartest.
Sure, Bob.
Thanks.
I
Thanks for coming
followed
up.
you. If you ever want to follow me, I'll talk to you one-on-one anytime. Go ahead.
Thanks.
Well, good.
Thanks for coming up, Kentucky. Cheers, Ched. Sorry you couldn't say more, mate, but I'll be back on again probably by the end of the week, I'm sure. So cheers, everyone. Catch you later. See you all later.